without a doubt is Need for Speed Heat's killer feature. But just like a lot of you lot, I finished the game now. I've got Ultimate Plus parts, and I do think the police are a little bit too easy. Before we go ahead and get into today's video, I just want to say today's video is actually sponsored by me. Some of you guys may actually be aware I have some stickers in Need for Speed Heat. I've got like a few different ones here, and they're actually all up for sale on my site right now, StraightUpHippo.com/shop. It will be the first link down in the description. All funds basically go to the channel and helping the channel out. So it's down there if you want to do it. It's obviously not mandatory, but it would be really nice, you know, just to support the channel. It will be down there in the description. So there's a few ways of actually fixing police in this game. The two obvious ones are A, adding a heat level 6, and B, rebalancing the police in their current state. Now the easy way of doing it, I guess you could say, is adding a heat level 6, but with also doing that adds the whole problem of what happens when you go to heat level 6 when you're at like lower performance upgrade parts. What if you just get the game and like you've just got into the game, you have pro level parts, then you get into a heat level 6 chase? That isn't going to be good for you. Although it probably would be a lot easier to implement, it's definitely a lot harder to balance, if that makes sense. As we're rebalancing the whole system from 1 to 5, that seems like a lot of work because you've got to go and actually go into each individual heat level and sort it out. And to be honest, I don't really know what the answer to this is. Let me know, what would you prefer? Would you prefer them rebalancing the heat levels 1 to 5 or just adding a new one, which is ridiculously hard? I don't know what I would prefer. I think there's a lot of things with nighttime that need a little bit of work. The whole rep situation at nighttime is something which I think definitely needs a lot of work. There's pretty much no point in playing nighttime once you've finished the game, once you've got the Ultimate Plus parts. Once you've done all that, you may as well just stay in daytime and just grind out the events for money. Though, you know, that's another story for a different day. Today we're just talking about the police. I'm not sure what exactly is the best decision. I think for me personally, I would much prefer it if they just sorted out the levels 1 to 5 to begin with. They can always add a heat level 6 further down the line, but I think for now 5 is enough. It seems like for whatever reason the police in this game are tuned for like pro level parts, maybe some pro level parts, some elite parts, kind of for like mid game. If you get any further past that, they're just a way too easy. And I don't doubt to a certain extent they probably were. You know, this game probably was tuned for the casuals in that way. The large majority of people probably never actually finished Need for Speed Heat. If you think about the amount of people that play this game and how many people actually finished it, you know, from the trial, etc, etc, probably isn't a great conversion rate. I think definitely the police were tuned with the casuals in mind. With that also being said, there's definitely a few things that I want to see changed in the pursuit system to make it a bit harder, even if you are already in an Ultimate Plus car. Number 1, spike strips. They need a rework. Why on earth is reinflatable tires an option in the auxiliary parts if they're going to reinflate anyway? Everyone thought before launch that the reinflatable tires were the only way of allowing your tires to reinflate. That's not the case. Your tires can reinflate anyway. Completely pointless. Get rid of it. Like, I don't want to see that on a stock car. If you don't have reinflatable tires in your auxiliary parts, there's no reason why your tires should inflate. It makes that auxiliary part completely pointless. It just completely nullifies the whole experience. Spike strips need to spike strip. Number 2, Rhino incoming. Why does it say Rhino incoming? Like, isn't that the whole reason, is to keep you on your toes so you don't know there's a Rhino coming and then he comes smash? If that does happen, maybe make them a little bit slower so people have the chance to react. You don't want it to be like an instant claymore when it just goes poof. You definitely, you know, want it not to say on the screen, oh, you're about to get hit, move. Because doesn't that completely avoid the whole objective? Make the damage areas a little bit more obvious. I don't know how easy this is to do in live service, but at the moment I don't really know where the damage points are on my car. Sometimes I'll get hit on the side and I'll lose loads of damage. Sometimes I'll get hit on the back and I'll lose loads of damage. Make it obvious, like, is it the side where we're going to lose the damage? Because then I can protect my side. Is it the back where I'm going to lose my damage? Or is it everywhere? You just got to make it obvious, because at the moment it's not really that obvious. Also make it obvious where the police weak spots are. There has to be a counter to everything. So if the police are ramming you, at least tell me where they're weak as well. Because at the moment, I don't know where they're weak and where they're vulnerable and where I'm going to lose damage from hitting them. I'm better off not touching them at all, and then that just completely complicates things. There needs to be a distinction between, you know, where your weak spots are, where you can attack the police, where you can't attack the police. If different like types of cruisers have different weak points and different strength points, those are the types of things that we need to see. At the moment it feels like if I don't have, you know, a reinforcement auxiliary, doesn't matter where I get touched, it's just gonna take my damage away, and I just want to know, like, how can I protect that, basically? Turn up the catch-up. And I know that's going to sound pretty controversial, but trust me, at heat level 5, when you're at Ultimate Plus parts, it is so easy to get away. Crank that catch-up all the way. It's one of those things. With the police at high heat levels, you want it to be really, really challenging. Sometimes it's really inconsistent, I feel, with the police. Sometimes it'll be really hard, sometimes it'll be really easy. That kind of gap needs to be narrowed. Crank it all the way up. All the way up. I want it to be so hard at heat level 5. Timing is another important thing. I feel like it's a little bit too easy to get to heat level 5 at the moment. I remember when I was playing in the capture session and we had the low rep events only available to us. It took me like an hour and a half to get up to heat level 5. I think that's how it should be normally, if you want me to be honest. Now, obviously, this is determined by rep, and obviously you can't change rep, so I don't really know how you go around fixing that. But I feel like it should take a little bit longer for you to get to heat level 5 and unlock the high heat events and the other, you know what I mean? I feel like that should take a little bit longer. At the moment, it feels like I go from heat level 3 to heat level 5 way too fast, especially if you do like the 40 to 50k rep events. A little bit of balancing in that regard would be great. And that's pretty much it. Like, I think if they nail a lot of those points, I think the cops will be a lot better. Now, don't get me wrong, I haven't even talked about nighttime as a whole. I've only talked about the police. I think nighttime needs a complete rework. Whether that means, you know, making sure you can actually earn money in the nighttime when you reach rep level 50 and making sure that it's high payouts, so to give you a reason to go into nighttime. Whether that's unlocking the level cap to give you an actual reason to play it. All those things need to be rethought, because at the moment it feels like they kind of only thought about your experience when you're playing the story and not any further. And I thought they would have learned from the mistakes they made with that from Payback. Payback suffered from the same thing. It was like after you finish the story, it's like they only focus on the story, and realistically, Need for Speed games should not be focusing on the story that much. They should be focusing on everything else. Anyway, hopefully we can hear an Under the Hood article very soon, because that is what I want to see. That's been it from me today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit the like, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. You guys have been awesome. Stay safe, and peace.